Good evening, and welcome to another great episode of Unfiltered Talk Radio. I'm your host, Chris. Little warning, folks, things might just get crazy.
Y'all ready for this?
Alright, if you couldn't tell from that clip what's going to be happening tonight, well, that's right, folks. Tonight we're going to be talking about going back in time to the 1980s, the time when kids drank from water hoses, and we still came out okay, and raced home before the streetlights come on. So grab a cold one, sit back, enjoy the time travel back to the 1980s. Alright, the date is April 27th, 1980. The great TV Ted Turner announces the creation of CNN, the first 24-hour cable news network. Now, some of you may not know that the great Ted Turner also started one of the greatest movie networks in 1994, known as Turner Classic Movies. A month later, Miss Pac-Man was released in Japan, followed by its release in the U.S. October of that same year. I'll tell you, I was never good with that game. I don't know about anyone else, but I just felt there was a pattern to the game I just could not figure out. I'd like to hear your comments on how you remember the game, or if you are one of those legends who could conquer. It's 8 p.m. on Friday, November 21st, 1980. A lot of you listening may know this date before I even say anything. If not, that's okay, folks. But this is a show record of when 350 million people, wow, 350 million people gathered around their TVs or neighbors to watch Dallas to find out who shot JR. Spoiler alert for those who watched the show but missed this episode. It was none other than, brace yourself, Kristen Shepard, JR's sister-in-law and mistress. Alright, now we're going to fast forward with me to landing in, that's right, folks, 1981, like we were meant to. Alright, folks, the date is August 1st, 1981. Music Television, or MTV, begins broadcasting after midnight as an endless stream of music videos. Later that year, Roger Dangerfield becomes known the funny guy of the year. I have to say, Caddyshack was one of my all-time favorites. That movie can make me laugh anytime. Now, we're going to move up fast to July 9th, 1981. Donkey Kong debuted in the arcades. It was the first video game to feature Mario and its quirky jumping. In the blink of an eye, one of the greatest dates to mention is June 11th, 1982. The movie E.T. surpasses Star Wars by grossing $359 million in the box offices. November 30th, at the age of 24, pop star Michael Jackson releases his best-selling album, Thriller. July 24th, 1982. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor tops the 100 charts, leading to 6 weeks at number 1. A little trivia question, folks. What movie was famous for the song Eye of the Tiger, and what year was the movie? Comment your answers below. Are y'all ready for 1983? Because 1982 was gone in the blink of an eye. February 28th, after 11 years and 256 episodes, MASH, the U.S. television series set during the Korean War, ends, leaving 106 million people sad. November 7th, President Ronald Reagan signs legislation making Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a federal holiday. The release of Cabbage Patch Kids dolls sparked a massive toy frenzy, with supply shortages and kids lining up for hours to get one. Alright, folks, we're not going to pretend that the kids actually stood there for hours. In reality, we slept, and our parents stood overnight and tried to get those. Come on. Just like that, it's time for 1984. We're jumping years like potholes now. January 1st, AT&T, known as Bell Systems, has broken up into a series of regional telephone companies, ending its monopoly. June 4th, singer Bruce Springsteen releases his album Born in the USA. A little fun fact that you might not know, that the song began as the Vietnam, actually. Before Springsteen changed the title after seeing a film script for Born in the USA by Paul Schrader. Schrader was considering Springsteen for the movie, but the song's title stuck. 1985. We're not even pretending to follow the timeline anymore. April 23rd, 1985. Coca-Cola introduces New Coke, a sweet replacement for the original 99-year-old soda, and proves popular failure. July 3rd, Back to the Future, the first of a sci-fi trilogy about teenager Marty McFly and a time-traveling DeLorean, premieres and will become the highest-grossing film of the year. All right, we warp so fast to 1986. So fast the universe is filing a complaint. All right, January 28th, a sad day in history. On this day, the 9th mission to space. The Space Shuttle Challenger explodes over Cape Canaveral, killing all 7 astronauts aboard, including the civilian social studies teacher, Krista McAuliffe. This is an extremely tragic moment for the Americans in the 1980s timeline. April 26th, the deadliest nuclear power plant accident to date occurred outside the Ukrainian city of Chernobyl, scattering radioactive material across Europe. September 8th, a syndicated talk show, Oprah Winfrey Show, airs nationally. And for those who don't know who Oprah Winfrey is, stand by. You're going to get a clip. Right, now we're going to warp into 1987. The universe said, fine, whatever. 1987, The Simpsons debuted as animated shorts on The Tracy Ullman Show, later becoming the longest-running American sitcom. Fisher-Price sold a camcorder that recorded a video to standard audio cassettes. Mike Tyson becomes the youngest heavyweight boxing champion, also known as Iron Mike. And it's 1988. We didn't even time travel, we time tripped. October 9th, The Phantom of the Opera opens on Broadway, with Michael Crawford in the title role. Movies like Rain Man, Die Hard, Beetlejuice, and Coming to America captivated audiences, with Rain Man becoming the highest-growing film of the year. Let me tell you, Rain Man, man, that was a popular movie, and man, I wish I was that smart. I'll tell you, gee, mini. But Beetlejuice, all right. So Beetlejuice is a really great movie. I would say one of my second favorite movies of the 80s. And it's a great movie. I mean, what can I say, folks? Also, Die Hard. Die Hard is supposed to be the rated #1 Christmas movie. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, but hey, that's what we like. That same year, Sega Genesis launched, marking a major milestone in video games. And later that year, Nike came out with the slogan of Just Do It. All right, we're around the corner now, folks. 1989, the timeline tried to lock the door. We just kicked it in. The Berlin Wall fell on November 9th, 1989, marking the symbolic end of Cold War and paving the way for German reunification. That ball came a-tumbling down. Nintendo released the Game Boy on April 21st, 1989, revolutionizing portable gaming. God. Yeah, folks, I had one of those. Man, you could knock someone out with one of those. But man, were they entertaining, I'll tell you. I think my very first game on that was, I want to say Tetris. I mean, I'd sit there and play that game and play it. And it just felt like it never could die. Until I dropped it on the floor and it broke into a million pieces. December 17th, 1989, Fox releases The Simpsons, which is one of the longest and still longest running episodes. And on this day, August 9th, 1989, the first radar images of asteroid 4769 Castalia were captured. All right, before we wrap this up, folks, let's take a second to appreciate what we just did. Because we didn't travel through the 80s. We bulldozed through them. We jumped from 1981 all the way to 1989 like the timeline was a trampoline and we had something to prove. 1981 didn't even get a goodbye. We just blinked and 1980 slapped us in the face. Then 1983 showed up, like, y'all ready? And we said no, but we're gonna anyway. By the time 1984 rolled in, we were speed running the history like we were late for work. 1985 tried to calm us down, but that was a year. Coke said, hey, try New Coke. And the entire planet responded with one giant absolutely not. That year was chaos in a can, literally. Then 1986 came in hot, and we didn't even walk into it. We warped, glitched, teleported, whatever you want to call it. The timeline was begging us to stop, and we just kept jumping like we were dodging potholes. 1987 didn't stand a chance. We crashed into the year like we were late to a meeting. We didn't even know about 1988. We didn't time travel, we time tripped. We landed sideways upside down, and probably broke at least 3 cosmic rules. Then 1989, the year that looked at us and said, how did you get here? Honestly, we don't know. We jumped. Wrong. We jumped fast. We jumped loud, but we made it. All these years combined, that's not a timeline. That's a highlight reel of bad decisions and aggressive teleportation. So if you survived all that, congratulations, you're officially part of the Chaos crew. And now we can finally land this episode. Alright, folks. Well, it's been great. It's been fun, but that's where we're stopping for now. Somewhere in 1989, we're confused, we're dizzy, and probably violating some several time travel laws. Well, if you survived all these jumps, you're officially part of the chaos, like I said. I'm Chris, and this was my timeline, and I'll see you in the next episode, wherever the hell we land.